9/11 was a symbolic alien event. Yeah, I know it seems crazy, but it's true. I just stick to the facts. I mean, I see the world as it is. And for example, 9/11, you can understand with reason, logic, facts, intelligence. And engineers, pilots, scientists, lawyers, successful small business owners, architects, doctors, they are intelligent most of the time. And they stick to facts. But why are you not an intelligent thinker anymore when it concerns politics, big events, false terrorism, Israel, and the truth told in several movies, songs, and series? In your job, you stick to facts, you're rational, but then with these things, you all of a sudden don't check facts anymore, and you accept everything. Like false terrorism, you accept that 9/11 was a terrorist attack like real, with real terrorists. But if you research it, the facts tell you that 9/11 was a set-up event. It had nothing to do with real terrorists. So that's my advice. If you're so intelligent, you're so successful, then apply these skills also to other things. Why not? It's all about the truth. So 9/11, it's the biggest event in our history because it's such a pivotal event. Everything changed at 9/11, but we haven't noticed all the change yet. That still has to come. And other things also happened on 9/11. The Berlin Wall fell. This perestroika of Gorbachev, but it was also all fake, all set up. Also, because Gorbachev was controlled by the Zionist Jews. Yes, it's all about them. But I specifically say every time Zionist Jews to make a difference with the normal Jews. The regular Jews have nothing to do with this. So these are the Hasidic rabbis, and they are the false Jews. They control the world. They put all the recent presidents in place. In the past, they put them in place too, but not all. But now all the modern American presidents were put in place by the Hasidic rabbis. And also presidents in other countries, like Putin, for example. And they obtained Palestine on 9/11. That was the start of Israel. So it cannot be a coincidence, of course. What this proves is that 9/11 fits into a bigger picture. And that's also a problem with intelligent white race men and Asian men. They always go into detail. So take the big picture in account and stop with your inappropriate details. Please. Israel. It's all about Israel. Better said, ISIS-Rael. Israel has to rule the world of dark people, all white exterminated, that's the plan. And when you look around you in America and Europe, do you really think that this is too far-fetched, that it cannot be true? It's happening already all around you, of course. So 9/11 was a set-up event. I will prove that later. Many people know that already. But also World War I was set up. The Hasidic rabbis get Palestine after World War I. After World War II, the Hasidic rabbis get Israel. After World War II, Jews that have nothing to do with this, from Germany especially, finally were motivated to move from Germany to Israel. So after the big world wars, the Hasidic rabbis and the Zionist Jews, they get things every time. That, of course, cannot be a coincidence. It means they set the whole thing up, and they admit that also in some writings. Like, I give one example, otherwise it takes too long. This is Theodor Herzl, one of the most famous Zionists. And he said it's essential that the sufferings of Jews become worse. The anti-Semites shall be our best friends. And naive people, uninformed people, totally don't understand this. But you have to understand, the Jewish world consists of the top, the Hasidic rabbis and the Zionist Jews at the top. And then you have the big part, the regular Jews. They're bus drivers or engineers, or they work at the post office, and they don't know anything, of course. But these people do, and they manipulate the other Jews. And they manipulate us too, the whole white race world, Asians, the whole world is controlled by them. And that's why symbolism from the past, the Hasidic rabbis also made up religions, they use it in our time. Like the swastika came from Hinduism, and the Egyptian religion they made up when they ruled Egypt, and they used the same symbolism with the Nazis. And why do they do this, mix the old symbolism with new symbolism together? I don't know. But they just like that, and they do it. And it's a fact. Also, this Hitler salute, it comes from Roman times. And the whole civilization of the Romans was also set up and controlled by them. We have to come to grips with the fact, if you study it, that it's clear that all big civilizations have these hallmarks of control. And it goes back to Mesopotamia, Babylonia, all these old civilizations already have all these hallmarks of control. And here we have this old god Mitra, and they used it in the Statue of Liberty to emphasize, to make clear that they were in control in the past and they are in control today. The Hasidic rabbis, and probably, I don't know, it seems, aliens too. Together they rule the world. And Paris, it's derived from Greek mythology that they made up too. Yes, they made everything up, all the big things, sorry. And this obelisk, they put it in Washington. It symbolizes Osiris from Egyptian religion. And it's not about the Egyptian religion, but it's about showing that they are in control. They were able to put their symbolism at the center of power in the United States. Well, and that's really something, it is. And Isis from Egyptian religion, they put it in Israel. I-Israel, Isis, Rael, the real name of Israel. Just like with this fake terrorist group ISIS called IS, same with Israel. Pyramids, they put in car brands, logos, put it on pause and see it for yourself. And they put the two pyramids in Israel, of course, because it's the most important country in the world and it is controlled by them, the Hasidic rabbis, and they also controlled Egypt. And there's probably an alien aspect to all this. Yeah, I know it sounds crazy, come to that. Then the news is also totally controlled by them, all the media, but news is most important to scare us, brainwash us, steer us a certain direction. And intelligent people always say, TV station is so big, or newspaper. There were 2,500 people, for example, at the regular newspaper or TV station. Well, it doesn't matter because 2,485 are journalists, printing press, internet nerds, logistics, human resources. 15 are the editors and the chief editor. How many people do you have to control then to control what the newspaper publishes or the TV station? 15. Is that so difficult? If you have all the money in the world and you controlled everything for thousands of years? No, it's not difficult, it's easy. That's how it works. And these things we never see in the mainstream media. White race is in extreme danger by mass immigration. Look around you. Never is it told on television because it's controlled. Big charities, all fake. It's never shown. All this money goes to the New World Order. Global warming, fake. It's never shown. Stock market, very dangerous. Never shown. Many politicians seem to be only concerned about Israel and immigrants. They don't give a shit about the white race voter. We have studied it. Here's the story. Ever saw such a story on television or in a newspaper? No. Because they are controlled people. Deal with it. You have big information. It's a lie. Not everything, of course, but most things, and especially the important things. But we also have small hidden information, and that's the truth. It's in obscure places, but it's even in the mainstream media, but then it's hidden in big publications. I will give examples so you will see it's true. And they teach us the truth also through movies, like this Al Pacino movie.
Nothing is what it seems. Everything is a test.
Everything is a test. And he's thinking, very good actor, but you should really think about this, because it's the truth. Like United Nations, many people say, it's satanic, but they're right. It's made up by the Hasidic rabbis, and here's the white race, busy talking, and they are much calmer. They make the decisions. And Al Gore with global warming. Who in the right mind cannot see that he is totally upright? He is not serious about this global warming because he knows it's fake. He does it because he got an assignment from the Hasidic rabbis to promote global warming. And it's in the Illuminati card game. And now many people cannot understand why would it be there. Because they work with the Kabbalah, and it says if you share your evil plans with others, even when they don't understand it, your karma is lifted. That's why they do it. Very simple. Accept it. Deal with it. Deal with the truth. This was already there in the 80s. But also 9/11. So it cannot be coincidence anymore. It's real. And they also show the truth in the music and through the music industry. Imagine Dragons. They made this song Radioactive. And everybody in the audience goes, I'm radioactive, radioactive. I mean, and they don't understand that they are foretelling the future, what's to come. A radioactive world, World War III, nuclear. And they give hints like this smoke and mirrors. When are people talking about smoke and mirrors? When they talk about con man, when you're tricked. And this is how they give you the truth. Really. In the music industry, they give a lot of truths. We are controlled, they say. We are deceived. World War III is coming. We're brainwashed. Military cannot be trusted. The government in general is dangerous. Worldwide famine is coming. And many more things. And also, it's all different artists, different groups. They all tell part of this story. Sorry, Pink Floyd also. World on fire. Holy shit. And you think nothing of this? Like they sing about a radioactive world, world on fire. That's just art. It means nothing. Of course it has meaning here. Paris Hilton made some CD with, of course, the pyramid again and the all-seeing eye. It's also in the dollar. And a world on fire again. Well, it's in more places. This has meaning, people. And that they make all these signs, it has meaning. They don't do it for nothing. The pyramid and the all-seeing eye, that is in the dollar, yes. And they hit things also in all the publications. Alice in Wonderland, totally incomprehensible story. But it's a nice story because the artwork of Disney is so great. But the story itself means nothing. But there is one thing. She falls into a rabbit hole. She falls, and there is something with time. And she's floating. And this is the hint. The rabbit hole is not a real rabbit hole. And she comes to in another world that she totally doesn't understand. So we take the essence out of that story. And the essence is that she is in our world. She goes through a wormhole, because the rabbit hole is a metaphor for a wormhole. And then she goes to another dimension, another world. That's the essence of Alice in Wonderland. That's it. And it comes back, I can prove it, with The Wizard of Oz. The Wizard of Oz is a much better story because it clearly explains how we are controlled again. And they made a modern version, Oz the Great and Powerful. And they show this metaphor of the wormhole. Because in the original story, she's sucked in by the tornado and she goes to another world. Same thing. And they put this also in the remake. Did you see that? Everything is floating. There's no gravity in a wormhole, apparently. And that's how they show, like, yes, it's a wormhole. And then he's in another world. This is not Earth. He went through the wormhole to another dimension, another world. Exactly the same like Alice in Wonderland. And take a look at this. From the producer of Alice in Wonderland. I mean, how clearly do you want it all explained? Wow. So, these stories tell the same thing. Tornado is a metaphor for wormhole, and this rabbit hole is a metaphor for wormhole. Both same thing. We are in our world, or the main character, and they go through a wormhole, they go to another world. That's explained, people. So we have to deal with the fact that this hidden information tells the truth. And it's more clearly explained in Doctor Strange. We live in a multiverse, and he travels through a wormhole with the Ring of Fire to all these worlds. Yeah, but it could be the truth and not just a story. Because it was so hidden in Alice in Wonderland and Oz the Great and Powerful. So these Hasidic rabbis and probably aliens, they set up all the wars, the world wars. They control all the presidents. And also Trump. And here's with Jesse James. It's not so strange. Because you have to be distracted with all these great programs on TV. So it's not so strange that Trump and Jesse James know each other and hang out together. And both are Satanists. And you have this drink, Monster. And his show is called Monster Garage, and it comes back in more places. And it's all from the same source, the 777, from Hebrew. And they control the media. Like all these stories that the white race is in danger. I mean, everything is turning black. It's so sad. Not because black people are bad, but because the white race is disappearing. And why is this not reported in the media, people? Well, because they're controlled too. And they give hints of the future, like 9/11 in advance, but now also Hoover Dam is going to break. All these things are foretold to unburden their karma or to give us a chance. And they give small hints of aliens, like Alice in Wonderland and Oz the Great and Powerful. C.C. Catch is not very well known. She has had these small songs that she made, and not many people went there, but still they showed the alien at the back. The symbol for the alien. So in short, they control our world. Who are they? The Hasidic rabbis, the false Jews. In the Bible it says, beware of the false Jews, for they worship Satan. That's the Hasidic rabbis. And underneath them, the Zionist Jews. And probably they are led by aliens. I know it seems crazy, but there's more proof to it. For this case. So when we look at 9/11, can it be that everything is connected to 9/11? It's announced in advance, it's false terrorism, there are aliens involved, wormholes and Zionist Jews. Is that possible? That this all comes back with this one big event? Yeah, it's possible. It's not only possible, it has happened. The big alien references of 9/11 are hidden in 2001 Space Odyssey. They are hidden in monuments on Earth, and I will reveal that now. First, 2001 A Space Odyssey, this movie. You should have known that it's from Greek mythology, and in reality it's the sun moving past all these star constellations. And this already gives us a sign that something is going on with this movie. Because again, the old and the new are connected. Just like this Paris, the city Paris comes from Greek mythology. Well, they made a connection to Greek mythology here too. And this is not really Odysseus who's there. It's the sun moving through star constellations. And then the sirens, they are the Pleiades, the seven sisters. And in today's world, they use the Pleiades too. With Subaru, this car brand, for example, but it's also in Hoover Dam. This should really make you worried, because Alcyone is the brightest star in the Pleiades, and they put it in Hoover Dam, together with enormous statues of angels. And you saw this Homer Simpson who destroyed Hoover Dam. So that Hoover Dam is going to blow is almost certain. They put the Pleiades in front of the ECB, the European Central Bank, to signal that they are in control. And in America, they put all the strange stuff in the dollar, the pyramid, the all-seeing eye, to show that they also control the money in America. The Hasidic rabbis, the aliens. So, this 2001 A Space Odyssey. Space Odyssey is a long travel with adventures. Did the humans in 2001 A Space Odyssey have a real Odyssey? Did this long voyage travel with adventures? Yes, one had the main character in the book, only one. But, this is very important, it was only an Odyssey because he went with alien technology. This is a very important detail. He went through a wormhole, yes again, where no man went before. So 2001 A Space Odyssey points to aliens. This title and what happened with this guy. Because he went with alien technology. And this is explained in the book, but not very clearly in the movie. The movie is misleading, what many people have said, and they are right. Then number 2, what points to these aliens with 9/11 is the monolith. Because there is actually a monolith at ground zero. And it is the monolith from the movie 2001 A Space Odyssey. But as some people have suggested, the movie was misleading on purpose. You want to know why it was misleading? Because they're not going to give you the truth, you have to work for it. But there's also the book. The book and the movie are different. And that's very important, because the book is much clearer. I read the book recently only. In the book, it's all totally different from the movie. It's much clearer. We are monkeys and we are barely staying alive. We eat fruit, carrots, and are thin and hungry and afraid of predators, mostly big cats. Then the monolith comes and it reprograms our brain. This is very clearly explained in the book. Something totally incredible happens. The monkeys are taught that they can use sticks and old bones to kill animals and eat them. The essence is that all these animals that walk all around them the whole day, nobody ever thought of as useful, the thought just didn't come to them, are very nutritious food and can be killed. Nobody ever thought of that. That's the essence. This was an incredible step. And the monolith was responsible for that. That's the essence of the beginning of the movie, the apes and the monolith. The book clearly describes this an incredible life-changing experience for the monkeys. So, these monkeys and the monolith in the book is clearly described what's going on. So for us, this probably will also be an incredible life-changing event, because the monolith is there. And it changed everything for the monkeys. So it will also change everything for us. Only not for the better this time, but for the worse. So, probably it all looks like this. We have the aliens, and they have told the Hasidic rabbis to have this book written and to do 9/11. And they put the information about 9/11 in 2001 A Space Odyssey. But they also put information in Gravity Falls, a children's cartoon, and they put information in the Illuminati card game. For example, Trump is there, but also you saw this card of 9/11. So they put all these hints everywhere about what's coming to our lives. And why would the Hasidic rabbis, if they are only humans, why would they do that? Why would they just not take over the world? And that's it. Why would they make it so elaborate and so difficult? Well, the only explanation is that they are controlled on their turn by aliens. Then it makes much more sense that it's also complicated and difficult, and they are not just taking over the world quickly, what they also can do. So the Illuminati card game, it explains that the new world order. It also says so on some cards. 9/11 is there, and Hoover Dam. if this breaks, that was what 9/11 was about, the NDA ain't changed. So when Hoover Dam breaks, yes, you can be put in a camp and you can be held indefinitely. And that's why this 9/11 was a life-changing event for us. This 9/11 and then Hoover Dam. Because this is about the legislation mostly. So when it happens again, then our lives are over. So that's why this is the biggest event in our history. And that is shown in the Illuminati card game. Martial law, emergency powers. This is what 9/11 made possible. And that's why there is a monolith at ground zero. Because this is going to change our lives just like it did for the monkeys. But for the worse. The white race is going to be killed. It's going to be horror. And it's going to be the same as in Russia, where they mass murdered the white race before. I will not show it now, but watch one of my other videos where I compare Russia to America. You can see what's really going to happen. Because these are only drawings. Reality is much worse. Many things are planned. End of internet. Imagine how alone and powerless you will feel, totally at the mercy of the controlled government. That's only the beginning. With no internet, you can just watch TV, listen to the radio, and you get all these lies. You can never, ever get to the truth anymore. Hyperinflation is coming. $100,000 in savings will be worth $10 in buying power. Hoover Dam breaking, martial law. False Ebola pandemic. Set up World War III, worldwide famine, and even more things are planned. Well, we're all gonna be killed. So it went from this glamour, I like it too. All these gorgeous women walking around these days who look like movie stars. It's super. But we're not thinking anymore, and that's the whole trick, of course. We're only watching internet porn and trying to have affairs with girls and trying to make money, all the. Never think about how the world really works. So this is our lives now, still. And then 9/11 happened. And then our world did not change immediately. Yes, it's true. But the NDAA has changed. Then when Hoover Dam goes, and all these other things, it will be this. When we do not think, that's going to happen. So this monolith of the monkeys in 2001 Space Odyssey is of course exactly the same one as on ground zero. Anybody can see that. You cannot deny it. It's 100% factual truth. And now you know why. Because many people have noticed this. It's very smart of them. But I never read anywhere where they explain what the meaning of it is, that these two things. But now you know, a life-changing event. And they tell us that it's alien. Because here in the movie it's alien, and in real life it's also alien. The Hilton Hotel at Ground Zero, and in the movie 2001 Space Odyssey, the Hilton Hotel. It's so obvious, nobody can deny it. And with Paris Hilton, she's a Satanist. And that's why she made a CD with the world burning and with the pyramid and the all-seeing eye. And that's why she has these shows on TV, or had them, to distract you. And then people go, she's so dumb. Yes, this multi-millionaire Satanist, she's dumb. Yeah, and you are smart. Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course. Yeah. Sure. 9/11, the Bible revelation. For they had a master over them, the angel of the bottomless pit. That is Satan. And that's why 9/11 was on 9/11. That's why they obtained Palestine on 9/11. The Hasidic rabbis, the false Jews, and the Zionist Jews. But it means more. There's a hidden meaning to Bible Revelation 9/11. I thought of it because of Alice in Wonderland. Alice in Wonderland, total shit story, beautiful pictures, but it's basically about her traveling to another dimension, and also in Oz the Great and Powerful and Wizard of Oz, the original story, the tornado is a metaphor for a wormhole. And then I came to the idea, because here's Alice or this guy from Wizard of Oz or Dorothy, and they go through a wormhole to another world. Then I came to the idea that it could be the same with the Bible. I just realized that the Bible Revelation 9:11 is about the same thing. For they have a master over them, the angel of the bottomless pit. But a bottomless pit doesn't have to be an endlessly deep well. That's how we visualize this most of the time. A wormhole is not endless, but also doesn't have a bottom. It is a bottomless pit, factual, a wormhole. The angel of the bottomless pit is Satan, but he isn't real. There's confirmation for that. They've explained this in another publication. He is a symbol for aliens. There is no Satan. But Satan is a metaphor, again, for aliens. Because you can understand by now, with these pyramids and this monolith, that they like symbolism and metaphors. And with the Bible, it's the same thing. So 9/11, the Bible revelation about aliens that came through a wormhole. And this is also what the event 9/11 also is about, believe it or not. It's really true. So we have the truth that we can find in obscure places, like also in Gravity Falls. It's a children's cartoon, and then a pilot or a scientist will go, it's impossible. But why, then I ask you, why is in Gravity Falls Kennedy? And why is in Gravity Falls the Mayans, the Mayan calendar and Mayan religion? And why the Pyramid of Gizeh? Of course, you've seen the pyramid so many times. Why is this in a children's cartoon? For children of 8 years old, the false moon landing, the death camps that are coming when the Hoover Dam breaks. Why is it all there? Because I tell you the truth. They give the truth through children's cartoons, for example, and songs and movies. And the official media, they lie. Multiple dimensions, evil aliens come through some sort of wormhole, or they tear a hole in our universe, they say, and the aliens come in Gravity Falls. And Dipper, he's the main character, he's the Jesus figure, because this is from the Big Dipper, and he is the Small Dipper. The Small Dipper has the pole star, the only star for us that always stays the same. This is the symbol for Jesus. Yeah, of course, you really thought Jesus was real? Come on, people. Grow up. It's all metaphor, symbolism, and logic, thinking. So why do I show you this Gravity Falls? Because the aliens, highly likely, have said to the Hasidic rabbis, you write the Bible and you put some hints in it that there are aliens, maybe they will find it out, and you make Gravity Falls, and yes, there's also a hint, and there's also the truth in there. It's all there. They go through this wormhole and they go into the light. That means they come to the end of the wormhole and they're going to enter the world again. And there it says the bottomless pit. And then to make it really clear, like, yeah, okay, you understood it correctly.
And I don't think any time has passed.
He says, I don't think any time has passed. Because just like in Alice in Wonderland with the clock, they give a hint, like, in a wormhole, there's no gravity probably, but there's certainly no time. And this is how they show, like, yeah, he really went through a wormhole. No time has passed in the real world, in the world, your world, but because they were in a wormhole. That's what's shown here. And then he actually says it. It looks like it must be some kind of wormhole they went through.
It must be some kind of wormhole.
So he looks at his watch, he says this about time, Alice in Wonderland said time, here's no gravity, all wormholes. So in Gravity Falls is explained that the 9/11 revelation in the Bible is about aliens moving through a wormhole. That's why they did 9/11. 9/11, they did it on 9/11 because it's a reference to Bible Revelation 9/11 that's actually about aliens moving through a wormhole. It seems crazy, but you've seen the proof. There's more, but it becomes very likely probably when you saw all this information. So basically these aliens, they have organized 9/11 to give us a hint, like, yeah, we are the aliens and we show you this through what happened on 9/11. Because there's this hint number 4, the 9/11 monument was planned before the attacks. They already knew they're going to make them. It's a reference to the same thing described in 2001 A Space Odyssey, a wormhole, or the entrance to a wormhole. This is a symbol for a wormhole, and we cannot know that, but we can know it when we have read the book 2001 A Space Odyssey, because the movie is misleading, but in the book this is described, a black square that's actually a stargate. Yeah, really? In the movie he goes to Jupiter. It's an important planet, but it's not as important as Saturn, of course, because more and more people are waking up to the fact that there's something really wrong with Saturn. They talk about the cube and the control from Saturn. So if they had put this in the movie, it would have been much clearer for people that this is the truth, people, aliens from Saturn. But they did not do it. They put Jupiter in the movie, and the movie was totally deceiving anyway. The book is crystal clear. This book, 2001 A Space Odyssey, one of the biggest secrets on Earth is now revealed. In the book, he is in his little spaceship and he doesn't go to Saturn. He goes to Jupiter, a little moon of Saturn. And apparently this moon really exists. NASA made pictures of it, but we cannot trust NASA. I know that, but they say like this planet, or this moon, sorry, has a black side and a dark side. Well, you can see it on the picture. And in the book it's also described like this. So apparently there is a moon near Saturn that it has a black part and a white part, and that's very super exceptional. And there's something wrong with that moon, with our moon too, but different things. He goes closer to this Jupiter and he sees this black part and this white part. And he sees then, it's described in the book, that it has the form of an eye. Yeah, and now bells are ringing with the informed people, because they know that all these rock stars and movie stars are making the one eye sign. And many people say it comes from Saturn. Well, they were very close, probably because of this Jupiter. He says in the book, the black looks like charcoal, the white looks like frozen milk, and there's a very distinct border between the two, implying that it's artificial, not natural. Then he gets closer and there's a pupil, there's a cube. He says it in the book, that he sees this thing. And he gets very much closer and he says to ground control, he says, it looks like some kind of building, completely black, quite hard to see, no windows, no other features. Just, he says, it looks like the thing you found on the moon. Because in the movie, or in the book too, they found on the moon this monolith, and he says on Jupiter, he says, there's another monolith. And then the thing changes from a building, it in one moment changes into a pit. In the book it's described like the eye of Jupiter had blinked. And he says then the thing is hollow. So first it was a solid building, and then like the eye blinked, and all of a sudden it was a pit. It's described in the book. And then this chapter is called Through the Stargate. And the Stargate is of course another name for a wormhole. And it says into the eye, this paragraph 39, into the eye. And he goes into the thing. The eye of Jupiter had blinked. And then David Bowman, it's the name of the main character, he sees it just before he goes into it. He says, the thing's hollow, it goes on forever, and oh no, God, it's full of stars. This, of course, impossible for us to understand, because remember, he's on this moon, this small moon, and then he sees the stars in this shaft in the moon. I mean, that's incredible. And then he goes into it, and then he goes faster and faster, and he's accelerating, and the stars, they become streaks of lights because he goes so fast. And then it says, he wished, now that it was far too late, that he had paid more attention to those theories of hyperspace, of trans-dimensional ducts. They mean wormholes, connections to other worlds, other dimensions. It's also explained everywhere. To David Bowman, they were theories no longer. So they say factually, yeah, in the book, yeah, it's a story, I get it. They say he's moving through a wormhole. And then he sees that the time stops. The seconds themselves were passing with incredible slowness, as if time itself were coming to a stop. At last, the tenth of a second counter froze between 5 and 6. So he has this time counter, and it stops. And this is exactly the same as described in Gravity Falls. Remember? He says, I think no time has passed. So in this movie, or in this book from 1968, they describe that in a wormhole time stops. And in Gravity Falls, this children's cartoon, they also describe that in a wormhole time stops. Isn't that incredible? Should not that make you think? Think, why do they do that? If you have an IQ of 180, and you are an engineer, and you know so much, you should be able to understand this too, of course. And not stick with all the lies from the mass media. Because in all these sources they say the same thing. And realize that when Alice in Wonderland was written, and The Wizard of Oz was written, not this remake but the book, that was around 1907 or so, and they had no planes even. That they knew nothing about space and wormholes and all these things. But it was in these two stories. That's incredible. And then this character in the book 2001 Space Odyssey, he exits the wormhole and he says, oh, the light is becoming brighter and brighter. Well, what happened in Gravity Falls when they exited the wormhole? There was a light, well, it signals that they're at the end, and it becomes lighter and lighter. They don't know what's happening, but they exit the wormhole. And that's also exactly what's happening in the story. And he comes to another dimension. He says, this paragraph is called Grand Central, because he says then that he sees all these jigsaw puzzle kind of things, extremely big, and some of them have these black shafts in them. And that's why it's called Grand Central. They imply that this is some sort of big train station, like you can, here you go to this world, and if you go here, enter this black shaft, you go to another world. That's incredible. That's incredible. It's all described there. And then he sees the alien sky. The sky is different from our sky, but he's not saying it's different or so. They make a hint at aliens because they specifically call it the alien sky. And what is so amazing is that the book describes wormhole Stargate objects that in reality exist on Earth as symbolic monuments. That's the most amazing things, and that's how 9/11 and this book are so connected, because he sees an enormous monolith in front of him on this moon, and that is the stone in Mecca. That's it. I will give some more proof that it's certainly so. This is the only thing on Earth that can be this thing described in 2001: A Space Odyssey, because it's the only big black monolith on Earth. This is it, people. It cannot be anything else, and it makes perfectly sense that this is it. Everything is connected. So everything comes back here too. Made up religion, for example. I will show it to you. This stone is called the Kaaba, and that has meaning too. And here is the Kaaba, the stone of Mecca, and they put it in an eye. Isn't that incredible? Because it's described in this book that this monolith on Japetus is based in an object or in an area, a wide area, that has the shape of an eye. It's exactly the same. It's incredible. Even he has named the chapter Into the Eye. And here is the eye in Mecca. It's amazing, people. It's all connected. It's all real. And these aliens are probably real. But then this stone, this monolith, becomes a pit. Yeah, well, you get it now. That's this one of 9/11, the bottomless pit. That's why the bottomless pit in the Bible is called the bottomless pit, because it's the same thing. This is described in 2001: A Space Odyssey. The black monolith that becomes a dark pit. And in the book he goes very fast into this thing, and the stars, they become stripes because he goes so fast. And that is symbolized by the water falling. That's very smart. Because if you know this book, you immediately, when you see this water falling, and it reminds you of what is written in the book. When you move through this wormhole, you see probably something like this. It's described in the book. These stars are not motionless points anymore, but it goes so fast it becomes some sort of stripes. And the water shows this a little bit. And that's very smart of whoever thought this out, probably an alien. But then they made this square in the middle to recreate this idea of a bottomless pit, because that's very hard to do when it's all this big. Then you never get the idea of a real big bottomless pit, like a Stargate. But when you have this dark thing here, you can imagine that it goes on for a very long time. That's how they made this object, this monument. These aliens, they also call themselves the Monument Men, because they put all these monuments everywhere. Well, if you look at Earth, well, we have the monolith. Maybe this is the monolith on 9/11, don't know. And we have this monument for 9/11, the event. But we also have Sphinx. We have the pyramid in Paris. We have the big people on Eastern Island. And in Colombia or so, or Bolivia, you have these very big things. So this Monument Man, that the aliens put all these big buildings everywhere, I think it's the truth. So all these things are connected. 2001: Space Odyssey, Saturn, Stone in Mecca, the cube on Japetus, the Bible, and the 9/11 monument, all connected. So the big picture is that we have been controlled since the first civilization. And who is controlling us? Certainly the Hasidic rabbis. I mean, you have so many pictures of them with presidents, and they've said so many things. A false priesthood, probably together with the aliens control us. The most logical conclusion, something that's hinted at in two publications, takes long to explain now, is that we are controlled by a coalition of a false priesthood that now calls themselves the Hasidic rabbis, and aliens that came from Saturn through this Jupiter Stargate. These two together control our lives on Earth, and they have controlled everybody from the first civilization. That's highly likely to be the truth. And these Hasidic rabbis, they wrote all the religions, and they put in hints of aliens, and that's why in the Bible we have Ezekiel, and he says that he saw some device, a wheel within a wheel, and 4 creatures came out that looked like men. So they were not men, they were aliens. They looked like us, but they were not totally us. They were the aliens. And there is 9/11. They had the king over them, which is the angel of the bottomless pit. Bottomless pit, metaphor for wormhole. The angel, a metaphor for aliens. That's in the Bible. And in the Vedas from Hinduism, it's written there's not a universe, but there's a multiverse. Shapeshifters have come to wreak havoc on Earth. It's written there, but also their symbolism with the meditating is explained again in a children's cartoon. I'm sorry it's not told by universities or the news or so, but that's just the case, people. Sorry. They show here this is a worm who is actually also a black hole at the same time. Yeah, wormhole, black hole, worm, that's crystal clear. And then he sucks everything in, yes, of course. And he sucks in Pac-Man and he comes to another dimension. That's in the whole episode, takes long to show it now. But then the professor, yeah, okay, he's not a real professor. Professor in the series, he shows that with this symbol that, hey, this was a black hole. Well, that's the symbol for meditating. So in all these religions, things come back from aliens. Yeah, it's in movies, songs, cartoons. Yeah, sorry. And the government lies, media lie, universities lie. Even false truth sites like Alex Jones, WikiLeaks, Zeitgeist, they all lie. Yeah, sorry. I also don't like it. And with the Islam, you have a line in the Quran, for I am the master of Sirius. Put it on pause, read it if you don't know it. And we have this thing, this stone of Mecca, the Kaaba. And I said the Hasidic rabbis, they wrote all the religions, they put information of aliens in. They themselves work with the Kabbalah. Well, if we take a look at this, Allah, Kabbalah, Kaaba, Kabbalah. But now watch this. Kaaba, this stone, and Allah, very important for the Muslims. But it makes Kabbalah. Wow. Kaaba, Allah, Kabbalah. Isn't that incredible? Can it be clearer? No, it cannot be clearer than this. Their fingerprints are on everything as usual. Valhalla from the Vikings, Kabbalah, Tor, Torah, Ra from Egyptians, Torah, Ra, Rabbi. All these things are connected. It's so plain. And these rabbis, they use the tefillin to, when they meditate, get closer to God. And they have explained in several publications that there is no God. But the only true God is Satan. So they believe in Satan. They think Satan is the true God. And they meditate and make contact with him through this cube. But this is like the monolith and the stone in Mecca. It's all the same. So they are fooled too. They believe that there is a God and he is Satan. It never came to their mind that this is a stargate that they have on their head. And there is no Satan. There are only aliens. And yes, some of them know the highest of the highest. Of course, they know everything. That's why they make this thing, the tefillin. But 90% of them don't know. So that's also the genius of these aliens. They fool everybody. So we have these aliens, the Hasidic rabbis, then we have the Zionist Jews that do all the work, they control the movies, government, music industry, politics, military, TV stations, newspapers, etc., shaping our world. And then they have the retarded, diminishing white race. That's very sad. That's the truth. And it's also how they did 9/11. They fought it out, the aliens. Then the Hasidic rabbis, they made a big plan. And then the Zionist Jews, or first to unburden their karma, they gave us hints to this song of Leonard Cohen. First we take Manhattan, then we take Berlin. He said farewell to the Twin Towers. And they had this truck on the morning of 9/11 driving around with a plane flying in. This is a real, it's mentioned in a report. It's a real thing. Unburdened their karma, and then the Zionist Jews and the Freemasons, they did the work. They made it all happen. Like, for example, the Port Authority of New York Harbor, they went into the Twin Towers before 9/11 happened. It was the only time the electricity failed. So that cannot be a coincidence, of course. And they put in the nanothermite that brought the towers down, because that's how it happened. Danish professor, he said it on Danish television, it will never be on American television because it's controlled. He said we found nanothermite in the rubble. A lot of nanothermite, tons of it. 10 tons, possibly 100 tons were in the Twin Towers. So it's not aliens like everywhere, don't get me wrong, it's the aliens at the top thinking it all out. And then they have the Hasidic rabbis do the work, and then some other people do some other work, and then they have Zionists and Freemasons do more work, and then actual things happen that they thought out. You cannot fudge this kind of science. That's what he said on Danish television. And here's, well, the 100% proof. The 3 Israelis that so many people know about now, they filmed the Twin Towers before the first plane hit, started cheering when it hit the first tower. They came on Israeli TV, and one of them spoke, and he said, we were only there to film the event. Well, that's factual, 100% proof of foreknowledge, of course. So, if you dig into these things and you stay with the facts, it all fits, it all makes sense. And number 5, 2001: A Space Odyssey made 33 years before 9/11. And black and white, yeah, the Freemasons, of course. 33 is the highest degree in Freemasonry. And Freemasons, they are made up by the Hasidic rabbis, but they are a little bit important because they need them to destroy the white race from within. 1968, 2001, 33 years. Book written, movie made, 9/11. 33 years. This Freemasonry, it's nothing. I mean, they are just used. These nihilists, idiots, they're used to destroy the white race. And they get these official medals and things. I mean, it's so stupid. It's unbelievable that people fall for that. But they also get money, of course. So that's why they do it now, probably. And the rabbis themselves, they had this black and white symbolism too. And everybody always say the black is the evil and the white is the good. But maybe it's not so. Maybe we know now that Jupiter is important, that there's black and white. Maybe this is just derived from this Jupiter's moon, the black and the white. So this is a reference to the Stargate, actually. Maybe. That's possible. And it's rumored that Arthur C. Clarke was a Freemason. Well, if he was a Freemason or not very relevant. He knew a lot of things, more even than the highest Freemasons, because he knew about the aliens. The 33 highest level in Freemasonry. Jesus also stayed on earth for 33 years. The Bible has 2 times 33, 66 books. So these aliens, they love this symbolism of the 11, the 3 times 11, and they tell us all these things and they use this symbolism. They had 2001: A Space Odyssey made. They made the Jesus figure up that's why there's a star in the back. That's the pole star. That's why they named this this movie, or it was not a movie or so. They named it Jesus Christ Superstar, and that's why 9/11 happened on 9/11. They fought it all out, and they controlled Arthur C. Clarke. So all these things from very far in the past, more than 2,000 years. Oh yeah, it was a musical, Jesus Christ, yeah, of course. Jesus Christ Superstar, the musical, they had this star in the back. Because they give us so many hints of the truth. Over 2,000 years ago is connected to our world today. All these things are connected because they all come from the same source. So they were able to put the 33 and the 9/11, the 11, in these events. And Stanley Kubrick, he made this movie, and he was also in the know, because he made movies about how we are controlled. Clockwork Orange, the clockwork is our societies that are controlled. Eyes wide shut, can you really not see what's going on all around you? And he had this movie premiered in New York on a specific date, April the 1st, 1968. And 9/11 was on September 11, 2001. The number of days between these two dates is 12,215. If you add them up, you get 11. This is how it works. Because there were many 11s on 9/11, just a few, Flight 11, the Towers Form 11, there were 1111 stairs, and all these things with 11 they like so much. So they did this too. That's why the premiere was on the 3rd of April 1968. That's incredible. So much hidden here. And all these people walking by and nobody had an idea about it. Well, later people became suspicious, of course, mostly because of this monolith on Ground Zero. But there's so much going on with this movie. To me, it's proof of aliens. But the book, it goes even further with the 33 and 11, because he made 6 chapters in the book, and there were 47 paragraphs. So you have 2001, 647. Well, the Satanists, they like to turn everything around, so it's also 2001, 9. 2001, 9, 47. But the 47 you can add, because that's how they hide things, and then you get 2001, 9, 11. It was hidden in the book. That's the games they like to play. So what you have to do you can understand all this, but the more difficult thing for intelligent people is to accept it. That's so difficult. You have to question reality and look at the facts. And then you can see that reality is not what you thought it was. And then you have to make another step, change your destiny. Because if they continue with their plans, we will all be killed. And I will show you a little more proof from another movie where there are aliens, the cube, Hoover Dam, remember, with the plague of Alcyone from the Pleiades. Choice between wrong or right, our demise if we don't make the right choice. This is all in this movie, and it is in the movie, yes, Transformers. You think, oh, that's such a stupid movie, but it's not. So many things are hidden there. They explain in the movie that Hoover Dam is built over an alien device and a big alien robot. And this is the big alien device. It's a cube again, a black cube.
stay here, we're screwed with Vegas on the other hand. Mission City's...
Well, this cube become very small and they can transport it. The good alien robot. Because you have good alien robots and evil alien robots. This is the evil robot. Hear what he says, I am Megatron. That's important. Where is the cube? The humans have taken it. Well, you can clearly see it's at Hoover Dam. All these things are going on there in the movie, but also in real life. And that's what I've shown you, the connection between real life and these movies and books. So we had the cube, the aliens, and also the Kabbalah, because in this movie he says, I am Megatron, remember? In the Kabbalah, the archangel is already called Metatron. It says so in the Kabbalah. Metatron, it's almost the same. Is that unbelievable? So we have the cube, the aliens, and the Kabbalah again connected. Wow. And at the end of Transformers, they really show something that's so incredible. That they're not only telling us the truth through movies, they're also telling us the truth and mocking us. It's never been done better than in the same movie. You cannot trust your government. This is not a free land. There are secrets. And I will add, this is not a game. Because that's also the mistake many people make. They understand all this stuff and then they still think there will be no consequences. They want to kill you. They want to kill the white race first. That's 100% certain.
Can you shed any light on the recent so-called alien activity?
You know what? I think that if there was some sort of an alien infestation,
The government would be the first to let you know.
The government would let us know.
Because this is America.
Yeah, you know, that's how we know we live in a free land, because there's no secret. They'd say, hey, duck and cover.
Well, that's so sad. Because most people are like these people, of course. 90% or so. They mean no harm. They live their lives. They don't bother anybody. They have a job. They're good people. But it's not enough. Evil thinks, okay, we kill you. We're gonna kill you. And we give you small hints of the truth. And if you don't understand these hints, we're gonna kill you if you don't do anything back. That's the essence. It's not enough to be a good person. That's the essence of it.
Infestation.
The government would be the first to let you know.
The government would let us know.
Because this is America.
Yeah, you know, that's how we know we live in a free land, because there's no secret.
There's no secrets. It's packed with secrets. Secrets everywhere.